Hello, everybody. Hi. It is 6:30. Welcome to our monthly monthly community conversations. I have to change it. I changed my own thing, and I have to remember it's monthly continued conversations. Welcome. We're gonna give everybody a couple of minutes to join, but in the meantime, I'm gonna have Seth start us off and let him take over the legal and the fun stuff.
Start with the disclaimer. We are not medical professionals. If you are in crisis, reach out to your local mental health resources or dial 911 for immediate assistance. For national suicide prevention, dial 988. We are recording and live streaming on our YouTube channel, so please take a moment to turn off your cameras if you do not wish to be on video. We'll be using our conversations to promote and raise awareness about our organization and our mission. By participating in our Zoom meetings, you give us permission to use any and all audio, video content for promotional purposes. And that's the legal disclaimer. You want to give anybody a couple more minutes, or you just want to jump right in?
We'll give them one more minute and then we'll jump in and get going because you know how I like my schedules. I am a scheduler. I hope everybody's doing good. Thank you all for those of you who are joining. Also, thank you to our live audience who are on right now on our YouTube channel. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for being a follower. Thank you for becoming soon a certified nuisance advocate. I had to remember what I wrote too. Gosh, y'all, my brain is just stopping me from all of it. I'm like, what did I do? Certified nuisance. Are you ready to become a certified nuisance advocate? Because I am. You know what I got called by everybody? A certified nuisance. So now we're a certified nuisance. And we're going to make some noise. We got to make some noise. All right. I think we'll get going, right? 6:33. We're good to
All right.
go. Awesome. Go ahead,
All
Seth.
right. Good evening, everyone. I'll introduce myself. My name is Seth, and I'm the operations officer for Project PHInc, and I'll be the moderator for tonight's gathering. Welcome to our very first 2025 monthly community conversation. This is the launch of an exciting new series where each month we'll come together to explore a meaningful theme, share what's happening within the organization, and hear powerful stories from members of our community. Tonight we're honored to be led by our founder and host, Adela Hittel. She's joined by Alicia Kellerman Alvarez, who will be speaking about the vital role of volunteering, why it matters, and how it changes lives. And then we'll hear a heartfelt testimony from Yolanda Curtis that brings tonight's theme to life. We'll close with a 10-minute question and answer, so please feel free to drop questions in the chat as we go. I'll be reading them out loud at the end, and I'll be monitoring those during the call. So I will hand it over to Adela.
Perfect, thank you. And also for those of you who are on our YouTube channel right now, if you post any comments on there or any questions, please do so. And Seth will be right on top of that to answer it for us. And at the end of towards the end of our session, we'll take a couple minutes and we'll answer. We'll start with our 2 to 3 questions. And then as we grow and as we build this community conversation about mental health and the awareness of becoming a human, we will obviously extend it and make it whatever it is that we decide to turn it into, right? Because that's what we're doing here. Anyway, welcome to the first 2025 monthly community conversation. Listen, for 8 years it was continued conversation. I had to continue the conversation, and just last 2 days ago I changed it to community. So it's a fresh start for me too. But welcome to our community conversations. One of the reasons why I started this when I started Project Human was that we had the opportunity to come together and share our grievances, share our hopes, share our dreams, share what is going on within ourselves as far as the human goes and the perspective of a human in the mental health field. I have the privilege of being in rooms with masters and PhDs and humans who have all the textbook check marks to be able to diagnose me, give me the appropriate pathway to life, only to not understand the experience of life, right? The experience of the human being. And that is a difference when it comes to really understanding mental health and what it means. So our whole goal with this, with our community conversations is for us to bring this awareness to our officials, to our community, and to the law, especially to the lawmakers as we are moving forward, because laws are being changed, bills are put into place, things are happening on behalf of us and our mental health and how we're going to navigate it that we do not know and understand. And as we move forward, we'll be bringing that in, and we'll bring in our North Florida, the NAMI North Florida Advocacy Mental Health Group, who we are we work and advocate on behalf of like the bills. We kind of figure out what's going on, what's happening in that. So we'll be bringing that to you guys so that you are aware as well, and we want you to participate. So this is what this whole meeting is about. I am going to start it off and share with you a presentation. Now, my Zoom people here, you won't really see it because Zoom won't let us live stream it to the thing to where we need to do, but on YouTube you guys will see the full presentation. You will receive the presentation in your email. You'll receive a full recap of the notes and everything, and then of course you'll be able to watch it on our YouTube channel as well. So for anybody that's missed anything, you will not miss it. We try to give you all the information that you need. So let's get going into this right now. Bear with me as I am my own producer here too, so I have to ensure that I do my right thing into where we're at. All right. Project Human. Here we go. And presentation on. Boom. Our core mission and values are to advocate, inform, and educate. Becoming an advocate for Project Human, or becoming an advocate for yourself of your own humanity, is one of the most important things that I have had to learn how to do in order to be able to come to you to have the conversation. Advocating for yourself is on a whole different level when you don't have all the information, when you don't understand how things are work or how our system is run, and when you're really afraid and feel alone and isolated in the world, when you come to especially medical professionals to share your grievances, to share your space, and they dismiss it. So in order for us not to be dismissed, we have to become an advocate of our own self. We have to understand that we're so important, that our own being is so important, that we will advocate and stand up for them, for ourselves. And then we want to inform you as an organization. We want to continue to inform you again about what's going on in our legal system as far as what bills are being passed, what's going on with that, and we'll give you those resources as well so you can start joining and knowing that. A lot of this is accountability and responsibility of the self in order to become that, because you cannot advocate for yourself, you cannot inform anyone, nor can you educate anyone unless you become what you say you are. And that is what we really want to emphasize on how we teach that, how we're walking the path and we're pushing that. That is our core objective on any level that we're doing. If we're not advocating for humanity, if we're not informing about humanity, and if we're not educating about humanity, our conversations we don't have, because that's really where we're at right now. Human conversations. All right. Let's see this. All right, next slide into that. That's our logo there, you guys, for those of you who are watching us. And once I'm able to put this up, we've already said our disclaimer that we're a peer-to-peer advocacy group and we are not medical professionals, but repeat that again over and over again. We are not medical professionals. We are a peer-to-peer advocacy group. We are also certified in ACT training, which is now I forgot it. It's trauma-informed training for adoption families and adoption therapies, and so that we have the ability to connect with humans and especially with children in the adoption space, because they don't have the resources that we do. So I am certified. We took a 40-hour course in this last year. We have about 60 hours of certifications in trauma-informed training, so that we have the ability as an organization to come in and help those in need the most. And again, our whole mission is to help 40 inches back to chest are people around us that we see every day, that we talk to every day. If we can't change our everyday lives for the humans that we care about the most, the world doesn't matter, because we cannot impact the world. We cannot change it if we don't change those around us. So we really want you to know that. And again, if you need immediate assistance, please dial 911, 988 if you need it, or send us a message, and I promise you, I will, or one of my team members will contact you to have a conversation, because that's literally the number one priority of us, is to ensure that you know that you're worth a conversation. So please take that moment to know that. What we're going to cover is just a little bit of introduction. I won't talk too much about myself, because y'all can go listen to all of that, because that's great. I'm great and all that. But we're going to talk about that. I'm going to share with you our accomplishments of Project Human, what we've done. This is a presentation we did a little earlier this year. And so a few things have been updated, which is great. That means we're meeting our goals and we're moving forward, and we want to share that with you, because we need help to achieve this next level of goals we want to do. Our biggest project coming up is a 3-day mental health summit in 2026. And we want to show our city that we, the people, can unite to bridge the gap in this conversation, when everyone in the city, everyone around us is telling us it's impossible to do. I promise you, I've sat around the team, a room full of people, of CEOs, officials, and everyone told me, Adela, you are crazy. It's impossible to do. What you're trying to achieve is too much. It's too ambitious. Adela, you're a nuisance. So I became a certified nuisance. So hence why we're doing what we're doing, and we're asking your help, because we need to unite to do that. A little bit about me, literally take a 5-second thing on there. The reason I started Project Human is because in 2017, I was on my last leg of life. And in 2017, I decided that I wanted to take my own life. That was a decision I didn't have control over. That was a decision that was taken and forced out of my own hands because I didn't have conscious control over my own mind, body, and soul. And so graciously thankful to God, to Christ, and then to my son, because if it wasn't for that, for me giving that over, I wouldn't be here to have the conversation. I wouldn't be able to walk this path that I'm walking. And I promise, as we have the documentary coming out, when you see Adela's transition through that to here, it's night and day. And that's what it's about, redefining your own narrative, refiguring out and figuring out what human means. So that's what we're here to do. That's why I do Project Human. Project Human only works if we, the human, work, and not work for Project Human, not work for someone else, but become our own self for ourselves. We work for ourselves. We come in with the light and we say, we're worth the light, we're worth the fight, we're worth the work. And we put in that work and we do that. And then we're able to help everyone else. That's the only way we work. That's the only way we function, is that we focus on you, the human. So I decided that because in my call, when I call my friends, when I call my people to say, I need help, I'm on my last leg, no one picked up. No one picked up. And I cried on the floor for 8 hours and I begged for death. And it's not a place where I want any human to be in, because at the end of the day, it's as simple as a conversation. The amount of lives we can save through a conversation. Now, is that a heavy load for us to pick up? Is that a weight for us to carry? Yes, that means that we as a human have to have our own capacity and understanding to be able to do that, which is what we do. We teach you to have that. We teach you to push through that too, so you're able to serve your community and do that. So that's why I'm driven. That's why I do that. Transparency, honesty, and absolute faith is what we run on, and we are on action based completely. We have a bunch of projects, and everything is human, purpose driven. If the conversation is not to the human, we don't do it. We don't do it at all. So that's who we are as a project, as an organization, and me, because it's the essence of me. Our whole mission is to bridge that through your mental and emotional health, so you become a whole human being, because that is what our system is lacking, is the focus on the whole being. We focus on all little pieces of individual and try to put a puzzle piece together in 17 different places that no one communicates with. And then we're left lost. We're left completely in a dissociation state of our own life and can't connect to this world, because no one understands, no one hears, and you're talked to 1,000 of people, but no one listened to you. And we want to change that. We're founded on principles of empowerment, transparency, and inclusivity. And again, inclusivity means human. If you're human, you're included. If you decide you're not a human being, and you're going to be a rock, okay, cool. We would like to talk to humans, and we have find rocks, but I just want to talk to humans. If you decide that, you want to be a cup, I just want to talk to a human. You're a human to me, and that's what we're at. I don't care, but a human being, because at the end of the day, we feel, we think, and we understand trauma. We understand the level of this existence once we talk on the same level. We're all struggling. We're all looking for a purpose. We're all trying to find a connection in this world that makes us feel something bigger than we are. We have to have that connection as a human together, but you also have to have it within yourself. And again, I don't care what anybody believes, but for me, it's Christ, and that's where we're at. So if you don't have that connection, you can't lead, and you can't leave your way for yourself. So that's where we're at and what we're founded on. Again, our core values are advocacy, education, and informing. This is we've done a lot of that. A couple of core projects we have. We have a creative project initiative that hosts a multitude of things, which is one of these, our monthly monthly community conversation. My team, y'all better slap me with this after this, okay? That's one of our lists on Fix. It's the community conversations. We also have the Artists Within podcast, which we're almost at a year in, and we took a little break because I was in a car accident and a lot of stuff happened these last 2 months. So we'll be back next week. So look out for that. We have our quarterly mental health days where we meet with the community to have conversations in person and connect with nature, with ourselves, with everyone around us, and to just be one-on-one with this world and not everything else. We have that coming up in September. And then we have educational courses and workshops that we're going to be launching at the beginning of October and move it on to next year. We have the care model workshop coming up. We have the creative healing toolkit workshop coming up. And then we also have the human existence workshop that that we have taught in the past, and we will be doing a session in one of our community conversations about that, because it's a really important, I think it's a really important understanding of how to break down the human existence, just the process of where we're at and understanding where we're at. So we teach a lot of that stuff. And then, of course, we provide you with the resources that you need to succeed this way. And we talk about the need, the requirement, and the want. And there's a huge difference between all of those in the way you do that. So in that. Oh, and also our biggest thing that we have coming up, and we haven't launched fully yet, but we will be launching in the next week, is our Runway to Resilience Fashion Fundraiser Show. We just filmed with Ascent Aviation at Hurlong Airport. Thank you guys so much. Go check them out. We have a lot of stuff, information coming up with them, but they let us use their space in the airport to be able to film an amazing marketing video for the Runway to Resilience, because it's Runway to Resilience. We are running the runway to resilience, to fly high and soar, because that's who we are. We're soaring to the heavens. So that's coming up on the 27th of September. So please, we're going to need a lot of help with that. Reflecting on our progress. So quarter one of this year, or 2024 last year, we launched a bunch of stuff. This year, we launched a lot of the podcast releases or documentary we're finishing up. And we've been featured in local news. We've hosted some classes. And also we've been at our events as well. We've had a couple of events that we've done, and then we've been invited and participated in the local film and television awards and the behind the scenes community as well on a lot of that. So there's a lot of stuff that we've done, and we've updated on a bunch of things in here too that we'll be talking in there. Where are we headed to? Greatness, because where else are we going to go? Nowhere else but high up here to the top. Our 2025 and 2026 objectives is, of course, our financial stability, which we are looking for people to help us in grant writing. So if anybody is interested in wanting to help us in grant writing or sales, because we are in the sales, like this is an organization, it's a business, and we need to sell ourselves. So who wants to help us get money? Be our salesperson too. That's what that is. We need people to help us in all the ways. I'm not ashamed or at all to let you know what we need to the core level, because we are on a huge trajectory for a win, and we've created an infrastructure in our organization that can sustain what is about to come, but it'll only work and win with the help of our community and the help of our volunteers. It really will, because it's a pretty epic thing. Our mental health summit is our biggest goal we're doing, which all these little things are leading up to that mental health summit. It's a 3-day event for information, education, and celebration. We're going to inform and educate our community on our first 2-day events with full on vendors and our whole community coming together. So it's a full on, I can't think now because my brain just froze, full on thing, because I got into the art. The third part is my favorite part, the celebration. And as an artist and community, we're coming together to create an entertaining event for you so that you can see what Jacksonville is made of. You can see what our artists are made of, and you can see what humanity can do when we come together to create in light and unite to do something for the community. So we're going to be doing a lot of that over the next couple of obviously till the end, but it is going to be our biannual event. So we'll be doing this every other year, because we believe it's important. And the other reason we're doing it next year is because it's election year. One of the big things is we're not here to get political in any shape or form. However, we are here to hold accountable and responsible all of our officials and all of ourselves in what we're saying that we're putting into. And if we don't agree with things, or we don't want laws passed, or we don't want to be on the cutting blocks for mental health, because our budgets have been cut by 70% this year on the mental health all across the boards. Arts have been cut by 85% this year, and I'm probably a little bit up on my number, but I'm taking it across the board for the arts. We've cut everything out. So the question then comes in, if all the funding has been cut and nobody's willing to help from the levels of our local and state government and federal government, what are we as a community doing? How are we stepping up as a community to take charge and take lead and say that enough is enough? Art is important. The conversation about mental health is important. The correlation between the two is one of the most important things that we can ever have and advocate for. Why are we not putting that in there? So this is why we're doing that, because then every 2 years we have the opportunity to hold our representatives accountable for what we're doing. And we as a community get a say. We as a community get a say. This is why this is so important to me on the mental health summit level, because if we're not going to have something where we're having the actual conversation, I do not want to walk into another room where our city is hosting a mental health summit. By the way, that was exactly what it was. I won't say the name of the company, but the mental health summit, it's on the page. You walk in and it's all doctors, all nurses, all PhDs and masters, and Adela's in there with her PHInc. That's it. That's all in there. And I have a mom I talk to who's there as a last resource to talk to these people to ask them how she's going to save her child from killing herself. And the conversation that they have there is how the system is going to take 20 years for her to have that conversation. That's what we had as a mental health summit. And that pissed me off because she walked away, contacting every local resource we had, contacting everybody, put on mailing lists, all of that, but she needed immediate help. Immediate help. And as a community in that space, as I'm sitting there and I'm listening, the question became, what are we doing and why are we not stepping up as a community to actually force the hand to say you need to be accountable for this? And so that's what we're here for. That's what the big mission is for me. You guys, I take this very seriously. So if you're going to become an advocate, you want to become a volunteer, understand we are here to speak on the behalf of a human experience and how do we change the human experience for us to work in our favor? Because we are humans who are living this life, not in this construct that society has created that we should be. We're not made for that way. We are connection based. We are fibers. We are life. We are just the greatest thing ever there. So please keep in mind, and that's what that is, and that's why we're here, and that's one there. We're also going to be our secondary goal, our quarterly mental health day, so we need help with that, and then our fashion fundraisers. So a couple other things in our educational classes. For our, by the way, for our mental health summit, we have the Parachute Goddess project coming in, and we're going to do living art installations of parachutes as a little big runway, and it's so exciting. Anyway, just really had to share that because that's really exciting for me. So priority roles for 2025, 2026, or any of them is really our operations managers, our fundraising lead. We have a marketing coordinator now, Miss Alicia. We also have our, we have an operations officer. I'm sorry, I just missed it. I was like, wait, an operations, sorry, Seth, you came and took that role and so this was from that. But operations officer, but we need help in operations anyway. So please do that. Program coordinator. So for all of our like community conversations, our workshops, all of that, we need help coordinating that as well. And our volunteer coordinator. We've got a lot of people come into the conversation, which is great. And a lot of, we're being seen in a lot of ways, but we also need the labor force on our end, and it is what it is. We are a labor force and a service force, and I'm very honest about what this is. I'm not pretending like this is going to be the greatest thing ever. Like, we do work, but we do try to make sure that as we work according to your schedule, your capacity, and your understanding and your needs, and we do not push, and we'll have our, similar people who will validate on that. We do not push, but we want to ensure that you are doing what you need to do and that we are winning. Anyway, that's where we're at, and are you ready? There's that. So really quick, any questions before we move on to any other segment that anybody else has, because I be talking. All right, Miss Alicia, take it away.
Yeah, I definitely want to point out that obviously Adela is the brains and the heart behind this organization, so she knows everything. But what we need are some hands and feet to be on the grounds. And we don't want anything to be overwhelming. We want everyone to come as they are. We're currently all over the place, so wherever your location is, that don't let that hinder you. We just really need support for everything. So I'm gonna just go give you like an outline of what we consider like the roots behind our volunteering. We have six little, I call them the roots because all of our logo and everything go up into like the roots because we're starting at the root of the health and the mental health. And then from there, I just want you guys to think about, even if you don't know what it is that you want to do, Adela's great at finding a place for you. So just tell her what your passions might be. If there's not even anything specific that calls to you, but you're thinking, hey, this is something that's really important to me, please don't hesitate. Don't be nervous about reaching out. Just say like, hey, I want to help, but I am limited on time. Or hey, I want to help, but I don't know where to start. All of these are great conversations and we love all of them. So um, the first route that we have is we consider volunteering as a human responsibility. I know that everybody doesn't necessarily take it that way, but for us, it's really not only an act of kindness, but it's a sacred responsibility to us because these are things that are important to us. So we believe that healing starts when one human chooses to show up for another, and that's really the base of our whole organization is that it's more of like a one-on-one rather than just like a oh, let's, like Adele was saying, like, oh, in 20 years we'll do this. We're really starting at the community level so that way we can reach everybody. So your time and presence really helps somebody else's hope move forward and it helps somebody else's life more than you'll know. In addition to that, the benefit of this is Adele's already great built this great foundation. So you can become a part of something that's already bigger than you. Mental health is something that everybody's concerned about. It's, something on top of everybody's mind, especially these days we have such a disconnected world. But this isn't just an organization, it's a movement. And that's really how we're trying to redefine how everybody sees mental health. By volunteering, you really become a collective heart, part of a collective heartbeat, and working to shift culture, dismantle stigma, and raise the next generation of advocates. Number three is your lived experience is powerful. So whether you've walked through trauma, grief, healing yourself, or you've walked along beside somebody, whatever that is, your story matters. And so
I
we
don't
invite.
get in strange cars.
Did somebody say something? I'm sorry.
Somebody did, and I'm not
No?
sure.
Okay. If anybody has anything, please feel free to interrupt me, but I missed that, so I apologize. Um but we just want to say that your experience is really powerful. So we believe that your experience can really light the way for anybody else. And so we want you to help share that and help you share that if you need help with that. The next thing is skill sharing and soul growth. So we have a lot of different opportunities, like Adela explained. So we have, outreach, art therapy, digital support. We even need some help with event planning if that's really your forte. But we really offer the opportunity to really like either share strengths that you already have or also learn new ones. So it's not just you giving here, but you also get to grow here. And it's something that we really like to help everybody grow because then everybody becomes better. And then they become the roots for the next generation too. Like I discussed before, these days everybody's really disconnected. So one of the things that we find a little heart here is that we connect in this world of isolation. Like I said, we're all over the place right now. I'm in Gainesville, Florida. Seth is in South Carolina, so we're all very far apart from each other.
North Carolina.
But we're volunteering with this authentic connection, and it's really helping us build community circles, advocacy programs, and you'll find a place that you can belong, be seen, stand beside others, and really commit to restoring humanity, which I know we all feel we need these days, and it helps anybody. So, any way that we can connect, that's I think one of our big pillars. And then the final thing is you really create the change. So every campaign, every resource, every event that we produce is possible because of volunteers. Like I said, Adele is this wonderful force, and she's got this wonderful genius mind. But we really need the volunteers, and so you're not just helping from the sidelines; you're actively co-creating. She's a wonderful person and accepting ideas and wonderful things. So like although she'll come up with these great ideas, if you contribute something, she'll take it and run with it. Like she was saying, we did this marketing thing for the Runway to Resilience, and there were so many people contributing, and it just made it so much better. So everybody was a co-creator in that, and it really just helps this be like a more compassionate and inclusive world. So we really hope that you are inspired by this. And if you have any questions or, if there's any inkling of something that you might be sparked here, then we really hope that you'll reach out and join us.
Thank you, love. I appreciate it. With that quickness too, before we get to our testimony, we'll send you guys a link also and for those of you who are here on our meeting, and for those of you who submit your information, we'll send you the link where you can submit a form instantly, like a direct form link, so you can submit your link in there and answer all the questions, or you can go to our website on phinc-ing.org/join us, and you can fill out the information there as well. It's already up on there. Or if you just go to our homepage and then go to a little bit to the right, we're redoing all of our website, you guys. So please bear with us. We're redoing so much in preparation for a massive launch on the 27th or 26th of July. So there's a lot of things that are coming in and going in there, but in there you'll find it and click on it, see all the things that we need, and we need you. If you think you cannot contribute, I promise you, your presence enough. I promise you, your presence enough does contribute. You have no idea how much your presence changes the way something happens, the way someone else feels, the way someone else moves something. Literally, it comes back to the existence of you. And if you exist, you have value. And if you exist, you can contribute. If you exist, you have the capacity to change someone's life. And if you exist, you absolutely have the capacity and control to change yours. And that's what we want to, push you and inspire you to do with us in there. All right. Sorry, I had to put that in there so you guys know that too. Yolanda, take it away, my love.
Hi, I'm Yolanda Curtis. With full transparency, I have been twitching this entire time because I don't like sitting still. um, and this is just gonna come from, my brain. I don't have things written down or anything. I don't roll that way. Um, so basically, when we talk about Project Human, um, a project, see, everyone's different. Everyone says things differently. Like, this is what Project Human means to me, and this is whatever. Like, for me, when I got in entangled with it, I guess, it's because of Adela, like 100%. She was just somebody I kind of was like, let me hang out, let me help out, let me see where this is going. Um, and she was telling me things and doing stuff, and I wasn't really sure at the time
Be
if
honest. Say that you were a stubborn mule. Just be honest. Like, this is the honesty thing. Let's know we don't have to pretend like it's a be honest. You be honest.
yeah, so when I met her, she called me her soul sister, and I thought she was crazy. And I was like, where is this heifer coming from? And a couple years later, we met again. And ever since I don't, there hasn't been many days that we go by that we don't talk or see each other, something, text something quick, funny meme, whatever. But I think, and that was what I needed in my life. A big thing with Project Human is we're really big on connections with other human beings, right? And I've lived my whole life. I'll be 43 next week. Hey. Um, and I sit there and I never found my tribe of people. I just never did. I didn't connect well with a lot of women. I didn't connect well with a lot of men per se. Like, I'm also a gamer. I like, anime and things like that. Things that a lot of women my age are not, doing. And so, and I have 3 adult children and 1 little child. And so life was just life. I was just going through the motions, being a mom, being a wife. Slowly but surely, who I was then got pushed to the side, and everybody else became first. My kids became first. My husband became first. You know, even everything became first. My job became first. Just everything. To the point where I almost didn't exist. And I tell Adela, I feel like I was like running just on autopilot. Like, I kind of didn't exist anymore. And it was really lonely. It was lonely being in a room full of people who say they love you, and you just still felt lonely, because you didn't see you anymore. You didn't, And so years go on. Obviously I meet Adela, and we have these conversations, and she's telling me, if you do this and this and this and this, I'm like, yeah, okay, Cracker Jack, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, why are you telling me this stuff? Like, and it took a couple of years for me to start seeing results, not in just me, but in other people, to where I was like, okay, maybe this isn't just some, spiritual self-help mumbo jumbo type of thing. And so we really got into these conversations. Like, she called me every day for like months, just to make sure I was out of bed, make sure I brushed my teeth, make sure I did something, because I had gotten to the point that I didn't want to do anything. And I didn't know how to pull myself out of it. Like, I had lived my whole life, being a chef, being a photographer, being a makeup artist, doing hair, doing all these things and being creative. But the expectations that I allowed to be put on myself from the rest of the world it was just too heavy. It was too heavy. And I scurried into a corner, and I just enjoyed being in the shadow at that point. I just enjoyed being alone. I just enjoyed, not enjoy, I didn't enjoy. I found comfort. I found comfort in it. That's what I did. I found comfort in the solitude, because it was better than having people pretending like they cared. But she called every day. She showed up to give me a hug. And I thought she was so crazy. I'm like, why are you touching me? I don't like people touching me. Why are you touching me? But she would show up. And then, we have the things that we do, projects, and I'd show up to projects. I'd bring my kids sometimes and help out. And I'm very multifaceted with arts. So I pretty much do whatever she needs me to do, you know? And I started slowly but surely finding joy in who I was again, like figuring out who I was. And here we are, like 4 years, close to 5 years down the road. And I know how to communicate with everyone now. Like it's not just it's not just Adela. Like it's complete strangers. It's my children. It's my husband. Like even our marriage has gotten better because I learned to communicate properly, which I wish we would learn that in high school. Like I learned to communicate in a way that my feelings weren't invalid. I was also able to get to a point where I am now, where I can break down in my own mind where all of those feelings are coming from. I use feelings now as a pause button, whether it's a good feeling, whether it's a bad feeling. I pause, I think about why I'm feeling that way, and I process it. And I've done that now for so many years that it's like second nature. But my kids and my husband saw me doing it at the time, and it's changed the way that they've responded, the way that they communicate, the way. So you just kind of see it from everybody else, and you don't even realize it's happening until it happens. And then you're like, whoa. um, and so when I think about stuff like that, and me and Nadella were just talking about this the other day. I had gone through, tons of therapists and trauma stuff, and just a lot of different things. And I learned great coping skills. Don't get it twisted. I learned some coping skills and things like that. But they always wanted me to relive everything. And so if you went to a new one, you were repeating yourself over and over and over again. It just felt like you just never got rid of it. And when we would talk, we would just talk about stupid stuff, like fart jokes. I don't know, just whatever, just stupid things. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I'd be like, oh, yeah, when I was 12, blah, 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 blah. And then we would just go right back to something else. But it gave my brain a soundboard of kind of a thing, And I find that I process information I didn't even know I was ready to process in just a moment. And it's not a huge deal anymore, where at one point in time, it would have been a huge deal, because I live for like the time that I'm in now versus like my past or living in a future or whatever. I'm just kind of where I'm at. And so I laugh because I'm like, are you serious? It just took us having it just took us having a conversation. Like literally, I was like, how much better therapy would be if we could walk in and we just had conversation. Just who knows what it's about, just have it, not having to dig into my darkest crevices, you know what I mean, of my mental illnesses, and I'm not saying that that's not a thing, but it wasn't what I needed at the time. And I didn't even know, because I didn't know what I needed at the time. I think I needed what everybody else needs. I think I just needed to be heard, I needed to be seen, and I needed to be cared about on more of a surfaced, tangible level at first. You know what I mean? Like, you know, you see it's like, and you're on the side of the road, you see a piece of trash, instead of walking by, you just pick it up and, oh, you're welcome, world, you're cleaner, kind of that same kind of weird thing. And so for me, when I talk about that, like, I process things. So as far as like, I can't say I don't get anxious anymore. I still get anxious because we're human beings, and if things are out of control, we get anxious about it. That's just what we do. When I think about how emotionally I've been affected, it's a lot, because I grew up in a very stagnant household. Emotions weren't really allowed. You were kind of just happy or you were content. You weren't allowed to do anything else, or it was just not good, And so when I got through life and dealing with emotions that I didn't understand and all that, now that I'm more understanding of those things, I go, they don't matter. Like, I mean, they matter, don't get it twisted, but like, they don't regulate my thought processes any longer. Where it used to be like, hey, here's an emotion, and here's how I'm going to react to said emotion. I don't do that anymore. I pause because that emotion is bringing up something, and I'm not sure what it is. I don't let that ground me in reality, if that makes sense. Like I'm very much more like cautious about anything that could potentially lead me astray from where I kind of want to go, in life now. Um, and then as far as like again my relationships and things like that, like with my kids and stuff has got better. I'm okay with not having a tribe anymore. I have like a couple of people. Obviously, we have our team and things like that, but like quality over quantity for sure. That doesn't mean that I don't reach out to people. That doesn't mean I don't talk to strangers every day. That doesn't mean if I see a kid crying on the street, I'm not gonna go, hey, what's wrong? You need a hug? And I don't even like touching people, and I'll offer them hugs. Um, my kids are like in my three oldest are all in, well, about to be all in their 20s. And unfortunately, they've had to deal with loss, like friends. And um, I don't think that I can walk past a teenager or a young adult any longer that was just in pain just because they're a stranger. I don't think I could do that anymore. Like I'm just not that person. See, now I'm getting emotional because I think about it. I think about the people we lose because they didn't have someone just to talk to for a second, like just to try to understand them. Because sometimes it's just I was like Adela at one point in my life. I got in a really dark place, and it was like that switch just flipped, and I tried to do something that was just not good, to take my own life. And I had young children at the time, and I had seen them after, and it was like my brain kind of kicked back in, like, what are you doing? Like, you have kids, like you have, family. And that was in my early 20s. And I know how quick that switch can kind of just go off. And it was just, I had no one. I had none of my family was around. I didn't have friends. I had a lot of responsibility. I was overwhelmed. Honestly, a talk from a stranger, as much as that sounds stupid, that would have really helped me at the time. So I don't care what people think anymore. Like, I'm just gonna be me and say the things that I need to say and be raw and real with people. Um, don't lie, because it takes too much mental effort. I don't know how people can do all that. Like, it's just exhausting. Like, um, and I think that just in the long run, PHInc has, it's just, I don't even want to say it's changed my life. I don't think it's changed my life. I think it's opened my brain up to the idea that I just needed to know things that I didn't know yet. I just needed information. I just needed some help. Um, Sometimes guidance, but not really. Most of the time, it was just really good conversation. Like I said, sometimes they were great conversations, sometimes they were just dumb conversation. It was just the fact that somebody cared enough to show up. That's really what it is. And it's the same thing with our volunteering. When she talks about showing up, it's because you never know who's going to show up. Everybody there has something that they've gone through. Um, no thing is worse or greater than anything else. And teaching people new skills, or fostering their creativity, um, could mean the world to them. And you would have never known without giving them the opportunity to have a voice
Or to know
and
you.
be a part of that conversation. Yeah. So I'm Yolanda. I think that's my testimony, unless you have questions. Like, I'm not the best at this, but I'm trying.
Thank you. Yolanda and I go way back. She's a stubborn mule. She's one of my hardest
I am.
advocates, if you will, for real.
I am.
It's a no for everything. So if you think you're like this, I promise, challenge accepted. She's the challenge accepted. I'm down with it. Challenge
I
accepted.
don't
Because
I don't
what she
believe
just
anything
said.
at face value.
Because of what she
Anything.
just said. She's not willing to walk past a stranger now without seeing them as a human. And ultimately, that's what that is, right? If we don't have that, you don't know whose life you can save. If you guys haven't read the book called oh my goodness, perspective. I can't think of it now. I'll remember it by now. It's about perspective. His name is Mr. Jones, and it's all about perspective. And he just walks by, talks to strangers, has a conversation, leaves, and changes lives. It's a conversation, literally. And it's not the superficial one. It's the in-depth life, philosophy, struggle, love, joy, all of it in 10 minutes with someone that you don't even know, that changes how they view their world and how you leave them impacted. So I really appreciate you guys sharing your testimony. And also I want to say thank you to my team, because I forgot to say that in the beginning, and I should have said that in the beginning. My team this year has been an amazing team, and without them, none of this would be possible. And without them supporting me in these next levels of ideas, none of this would be possible, and we would not be here. So my team is the reason why I am where I'm at right now. So I thank you guys for showing up on that. So big round of applause to my team. Okay, Seth, your turn.
And those that aren't here right now too.
Yes, we have a big team behind us too.
Yes.
So
I don't see that we have any questions in the chat.
Okay.
Let me double check YouTube.
Perfect.
But if anybody has anything that they'd like to throw in there real quick, the floor is wide open.
Well, since we have one Zoom caller who's joined us in here that I see, we have two. I think Brittany's on there too. If anybody on our Zoom would like to pop in, we have about 10 minutes left. If you'd like to share anything about why you're here, or what brought you interested here, or if you just want to share your testimony of existence, we have the opportunity. I would appreciate that as well, because we'd love to hear your voice. You never know what someone can hear, even listening through our live. Who could hear something that you may say? Literally one word can change someone's life. It's that simple. It's that simple. So I want to say hi to Ari. Ari, we go way back too. We went to hair school together, and we've been in bits and pieces and some projects, and so I was so pleasantly surprised to see you pop on tonight. Welcome, thank you for coming. Hi, the last time I saw you was at a photo shoot, and that was like 6 years ago. So like, hello.
Yeah. I've been getting your emails over the years. I've just been in grad school, so I've been in laser focus. So I got this email for the meeting, and I was like, I gotta check in on my girl. I got to see where this whole thing has gone, because I knew it was going somewhere. Because you're just such a determined human with an incredible story, and people with stories should share, because, like you said, you never know who's listening and who might need to hear it. I have a dog that's going to bark, so I'm going to put my AirPods back in. He's very, probably cutting off. Can you hear me?
We could still hear you.
Okay.
He has his story.
And you can probably hear my dog too.
That's okay. We love dogs. We love pets. We love interruptions. We love children. Anything. This is what it's for. The real raw thing.
Good. I'm glad you're here for the real, because my AirPods aren't working. So, but yeah, I'm also a therapist now. So I'm wanting to connect with community, and I started my journey into the world of therapy.
You just went out a little bit.
I wish we could just have conversations, because that's what I wish too as a client.
Hey, love, I'm so sorry to interrupt you, but you're going in and out. Can you hear me? You're going in and out. We can't hear your audio. Believe me, that's me too. You just give up on it. Just keep going.
I know where
promise.
I cut out, but I was just saying I loved Yolanda's perspective, and saying that she wished that she could just like have a conversation. And I started in my journey as a embodiment practitioner, that connecting the body and the mind, and that practice is really based in human connection first. And it's allowed me to move into my therapeutic practice with that human connection first, because it is so important, and it does allow people to feel that felt sense of safety, which is the key that opens the lock to healing in all of its forms. And I absolutely love your logo and the roots, because that's like, I'm a plant girly, so I very much resonate with that. my therapy practice is called Tend Bloom, tend to yourself and see what blooms. So I love the
it.
connection there.
So you're going to be part of the mental health summit, right? I'm already calling
Yeah,
out and
I'm
asking,
very
right? Okay,
excited.
good.
Yeah,
Awesome.
I'm
Awesome. All
already
right. And
signed
also,
up.
let's go ahead and get it on the record and the mental health day coming up. So we just need to go ahead and start talking about it because we need it. That's what we're doing.
I know you'll plug me in. Plug
Oh,
me in
got you.
wherever you need me.
Alicia, Seth, get that. Make sure we get that.
Are you in Jacksonville?
I'm in Jacksonville. Yep.
Right on. Pleased to meet you.
Nice to meet you all.
Well, thank you for sharing and coming on. And then I want to say thank you to all of our other guests who've shown onto our call. I don't want to call you guys by names because you've chosen not to have your photos on or for our meetings and stuff like that too. So, but I really, really want to appreciate you for the amount of guests that we have had on and participants. We hope that you have found value in it. We hope that you are thinking and considering about volunteering with us and seeing what you can gain as Yolanda and Seth and Alicia will attest to. My first and foremost question when you come in is to ask you, what do you want to gain out of this? I know what I need, right? Like I know what I need, but I want to know what you want to gain out of this. That way, what we're doing is we're guiding you towards that. And if that's not where you end up going because you figured out that's not what you want, okay, great. You come back and go, Adela, change my mind about being an operations officer because I don't like anything in the back end. I want to go do the front end. Okay, great. Let's put you into this and we'll start with this. But what that's going to do for you is it's going to give you the opportunity to learn new skills in that process. Our system is all about the process and how do we get you to be a functioning human being for yourself in everyday, day-to-day existence. So as Yolanda mentioned, how do we get you to brush your teeth? How do we get you to take a shower? How do we get you to get dressed? How do we get you to make your bed? How do we get you to put away your dishes and your laundry? How do we get you to fall in love with your life? And if you can't do that for yourself, obviously then we're not doing our job at Project Human because then we're not teaching you. Because the people, like Yolanda said, you impact, the ones who see the instant results are the ones around you, your 40 inches, the people that you see every day, that you speak to every day, that you think about every day. If you can't change your life with them, the world you want will never be possible. Because they impact you every day. You impact them every day. Your thoughts, your feelings, your processes. And if you don't understand yours and you can't guide others to that same level, the process together is going to be very, very wonky. Go ahead, Yolanda. I see you raising your hand. See how quick?
I don't know. I don't know why. I don't know why. It's not that I forgot, you know this, but like, so my youngest, my fourth child, she's 8.
I love her.
And
we're the same.
She has ADHD and ADHD. Yeah, I have ADHD. I have not been diagnosed with autism or anything like that. I'm a little too old for that now. It would be hella expensive. I'm not going to do it. However, through this process, I like to teach all of my kids the things that I'm learning, right? And so one of the things is like when I process something new mentally, an emotion, a new way of thinking, if you will, on certain things, I'll talk to her about it. And she has gotten to the point now at 8 years old where she will have an emotion, she will pause, she might explode a little bit because that happens, like, you know, be a little loud or something, and I'm like, hey, let's go to our room, we're gonna reset, go reset. And she'll go, she might scream at a pillow, she might hit a pillow, she might do whatever she'll come out and we will have a conversation because she just has to get it out. And then she just sometimes she needs a hug, sometimes she doesn't want you to touch her, sometimes it's just all over the place. But the self-regulation that I see in my 8-year-old took me almost 40 years to get. And I find that outstanding. Like, yeah. When we talk about like our 40 inches, like, she's 8 and she's where I'm at now. And so when we talk about like the hope for our future, that's the kind of things that I like to think about. Like, my process not work for everybody who listens or watches, but if it works for one, then it helps that one. You know what I mean? And so it's like, as long as you have a voice And with that, you can have a conversation, and your conversations, no matter how small and how insignificant you think they matter. It doesn't matter if it's about a movie, if it's about music, if it's about whatever. If you're making a connection with another human being and you're developing your relationship skills, I mean, that's what matters, because ultimately that's what everybody wants. They want that connection. They want that human connection in one way or the other. And a good relationship skill is going to help you with, a marriage, with a relationship with your parents, with your siblings, with your children, with your job, with coworkers, with literally anybody else who's human. So I forgot. I didn't forget about Aslan, but you know what I mean?
It's good because it's a work in progress. And that's another thing is
Yeah.
it's a work in progress. These are the conversations we have on this. This is the type of thing. This is when we have our meetings, when we do our monthly meetings and our conversations, we bring these up. Hey, this month I didn't understand how to regulate myself or regulate my thing, and we blew up. Okay, well, let's talk about the regulation. Let's actually just talk about that. Let's break that down. Let's break the concept down, and let's see where that was. And the thing that I do, and they'll vouch for this, is I literally will force you to face your truth. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. Like, I will force you to face your truth, because if you cannot see you, I don't care who you are, I can't see you. Like, I can't see you. I can't know you if you can't see yourself. And no matter what you come to tell me, there's something about me that I know. I have this innate ability to know when someone's being a human and when they're not. And when you're a person with me, I can tell, because I don't like you. And when I don't like people, there's a character. I'm being honest. There's a character that is there that is pretending to be something that they're not. There's a lie that's being told, whether about you or an idea or something, and I can't connect. Because if you're an honest human being, when you look at someone, you won't need words to connect. You will not need words to connect. You will know for a fact that that human just needs a hug, needs that moment. They're human and they're a struggle, and they're just, or you share the joy. Or like Yolanda said, she walked on across the room at somebody the other day, and they were just so joyful that she had to give them a hug. Oh, just the full joy of a human, because a human was just so joyful. It doesn't have to be a struggle. But that's the point about the depth of our connection and the capacity of our existence, is that we do not need these words. However, the word that we speak has the power to change the way we view, the way we feel, the way we move. And that comes within with us. So it's very important. And I want to touch base with one thing that Ms. Ari asked about the 40 inches back to chest. I actually have a class. So I'd love to get with you and share that with you, Ari. So let's make a meeting and I'll share with you the concept of it. But we will be teaching that class coming up soon too, as are on there. But the concept is this: you need to zero in on you. Zero in. So the zero is you. You're the starting point, okay? Anything, and this is based on my experience from military, from learning from COVID, learning from everybody else's, okay? So there's always good out of something. That's how I look at it. So the 6 feet portion came good out of COVID because it taught me something in that. So this is the concept. You zero in on yourself because you're the zero. You're zero patient. You're everything. Everything is affected by you in the zero process. When you spread your wings like this, forward, backward, that's your 40 inches back to chest, side to side. That's what the military expression is. That means that is the most important thing next to you, in front of you, around you. That is it. If you can't focus on that, anything outside of that, which is your 6 feet outside that door, you will not. That's your job. That's the extended family. That's your friendships. That's your anything outside of your door, you don't have the capacity to bring in, to connect. You don't have it. So you think we can take on the world with Instagram and social media, we can't process that because we've literally negated the zero and the 40 and decided that we're going to jump into the ocean with no life vest, no boat, no food, nothing, and said, let's go on a cruise with no cruise. And we can't do that. So, and I don't do cruises, guys. That's why I'm saying that. You'll never catch me on a cruise. But it's the same concept. So the idea is that how do we go from the world, and COVID taught us 6 feet, which gave us that separation, which put us back into our own home, to look at our own home. That goes back into the functionality. How do you function on your 40 inches back to chest every day? Who are you here to have that conversation and impact with? Who's the most important connection? When you solidify that, I promise, the 6 feet in the world are nothing. They are literally just another thing for you to go on and do and have fun with. It's nothing The anxiety we feel is because we have no control of our own being, of our own zero. We have no understanding of what is happening in our 40 inches. And all we're doing is thinking about what the 6 feet outside that door is thinking, feeling, doing. And the world is thinking, feeling, doing. Not even caring about what I'm thinking, feeling, doing, what my husband, my son, my wife, my present, like the people next to me are thinking and feeling and doing, because we have lost that connection. So that's what we're doing. We're doing that. We're bridging that. And the only way to do that is by literally a conversation. So we invite you to start conversations with us and become a certified nuisance with Project Human. By the way, that is our line dropping on July 27th or 26th. So please look out for that. We have a full merch line coming out called Certified Nuisance, because why? We are certified. You are certified. Here's what I'm going to tell you this about the advocacy. This is the most thing and the thing. You have a certification in existing as a human being. Anybody outside of that tells you with a PhDs, with a master's, with anything that comes in and says you don't know how to live as a human, they're wrong. You are a human being first. You know you're human. And if you don't know, that's the disconnection. If you do not understand that you know your humanity, that you know yourself, how will you advocate when? And I say this as I just am literally about to have to do you guys, in the next couple months, you're about to hear negative things from me, negative in the medical field, because I got a case and I'm mad. They tried me. They took 16K and they tried me and they lied to me, and I'm not playing. Let me tell you. But how do you advocate when you're fighting the insurance, when you're fighting the health field, when you're fighting everything and you're already an emotional mess? How do you advocate? What grounds you? What puts you together? How do you stand up for yourself when they're pushing medications for you and you say no and they charge you still for it? How do you push for this and then you say no and they still do this? Who do you call? What do you do when you're already in a mess and know what, you're already there? And that's just the worst case scenario of somebody going through. That's not an everyday thing for someone that they're feeling that. So when we look at that and when we think about that, to become something strong, you have to advocate for yourself. In order to advocate for yourself, you have to inform and educate yourself. In order to do that, you have to show up. So we're asking you to show up. And there's my passionate speech because we're over time. Anyway, any questions, concerns, or anything like that? Because this is how our community conversations are going. Nope, we're good. Okay, well, I thank you guys so much for joining. For those of you who did not get to see this, you'll watch this. For those of you who missed our meeting, last Thursday of every month on our website, in the front page, on the calendar, on our homepage, you can click, you can join, you can sign up, pre-sign up, reserve your spots, get yourself scheduled. We have a full year scheduled, and our next conversation is going to be about community. We promise there's a theme going on to the end of the year. I'm Taylor Swift in this. I'm not a Taylor Swift fan, by the way, guys, but I know what she does. So, but I'm Taylor Swift in this with these little Easter eggs, so please know that everything has a rhyme or reason for the year, and we would love to have you be a part of that creation for something bigger that we have planned with these continued conversations in the community for us to be able to understand ourselves. And again, how are we as a community, as an independent human being, going to stand up for ourselves when the system is designed to set you up for failure? That's just what it is. It starts with us coming together and having the conversation and then making a plan and then moving forward. And the way the plan works is that when you work for yourself and you decide you're worth the effort, you win, period. All right, until next time, I thank you guys so much, and we will see you.